All right, now I'm back. Been a minute, but we're gonna continue like I never left. So it's not even let's not even dwell on the absences and whatnot. We here for the work. So today I want to talk about the heart chakra and loving thyself, knowing thyself, and my experience with working up to the point where my heart chakra was able to be healed. You know what I'm saying? Because the heart chakra is one of the most difficult chakras to work on. And the reason why that is because there's so much temptation, there's so much um trauma that gets built in the heart space to the point where a lot of people, especially men and black men in particular, are they have a closed heart chakra. Some people don't even know how to love, let alone love themselves. So it's it's that's why it's so important for everyone to heal and work on themselves, do their shadow work and work on their traumas and learn how to master their emotions. I was listening, and this is interesting that I'm taking this route because I'm really freestyling this whole thing. Because so I'm gonna get to the story. I'm gonna get to the story on how I worked on the heart chakra, but I want to talk about what I had realized while listening to an interview with Will Smith. And what? Go sit. Go sit. Go sit. I love you too. Go sit. Go. Go. Sit. Sit. Please. Sit. Sit. The doggy wants attention. Anyway, so I was listening to Will Smith talk to Gillian Wallow about healing and dealing with his emotions. And he said that, well, I'm paraphrasing it. The When he was dealing with his emotions, dealing with the side of himself that most men are taught not to deal with, he managed to expand his creativity beyond a range that he's never done before. So when he said that, immediately I started thinking about it, or spirit just started telling me that that is the reason why creativity, intuition, and emotions all fall under the same element, which is water. The reason why that is because all of them play a role to help one another. You know what I'm saying? To help expand one another, to heal one another. They're all intertwined. They all what's the word that I'm looking for? Correspond with one another. So when I realized that, I just started thinking about how once you deal with your emotions and get in touch with certain emotions that you've probably have been avoiding for a long time, that is when you start to tap into certain creativities. And the best way to do that is by tapping back into your inner child and healing your inner child. When you heal when you heal your inner child, that is when you start to um tap back into the creativity. It's just like I've said so many times about the imagination, and others have said so many times about the imagination, that when you grow up out of the childlike mentality that you was born with, the child innocence that you were born with, and you no longer have that level of innocence anymore, you no longer have that childlike wonder anymore, that it destroys the imagination. You know what I'm saying? It how do I want to, yeah, it destroys the imagination. So in order to get back in touch with your imagination, you have to heal. You have to deal with your inner child and do what children do. not even do what children do. Just do things that you love to do when you are a child, or play with children. You have children, play with your children. This is something that I've learned listening to, Brother Panic a lot. I always reference him a lot. I'm probably never gonna stop. And him and Ali, those are my mentors, and Bobby Hemming, all of them. Anyway, anywho, what was I talking about? Healing the inner child. When you heal the inner child, it unlocks your imagination. You tap back into your imagination. You've tapped back into your creativity. Tap back into your creativity. That is when you can stop looking at things from a logical. It's easier to stop looking at things from so much of a logical perspective. You're not so much on the masculine side no more. Now you are you're leaning more towards your feminine side, which is beautiful, which is exactly what you want, especially when you're trying to tap back into your creativity and your imagination. So they all play a role or correspond with one another. So the reason why I created this video was to talk about the heart chakra. And a lot of people tell us that you have to love yourself, you got to work on yourself, you have to heal yourself, take care of yourself. That's part of self healing, pamper yourself. And while all of that is good for the aesthetic, you want to look good, because looking good builds confidence. And once you build your it makes you feel more better about yourself, is what I'm trying to say. And then at the same time, it builds your confidence, because, it's just easier to feel good about yourself when you're not looking like shit, basically. For a harsh way to put it, when you're not looking like crap, it's a best way. It's an easier way to have an appreciation for the way that you look. You know what I'm saying? For the outer shell, but we do the inner work to have an appreciation for ourselves as a whole, the inside and the out. You know what I'm saying? Because what makes the person is the inside, especially to a spiritual person. I've always been the type where if your attitude is shitty, all of that shit you got going on the outside it means nothing anymore. It means nothing at all. So 515, a lot of fives I've been seeing. I've been seeing a lot of fives. A lot of change is upon us, or upon me. But if you in my algorithm, if you tapped in with my energy, and you tapped in with my videos, especially my tarot videos, then you pretty much on the same energy, the same similar a similar wave is taking place, if you will. So, like I was saying about the heart chakra, uh you heal the inside, you work on the inside. And what we do is they tell us to, like I said, pamper yourselves, and that's good for the outside, but the inside is more important. And the things that you do to work on the inside is really just, do, like you said, like I've said, do the shadow work and work on your traumas, the things that make you act a certain way that you can't necessarily control. Working on your emotions, that is how you do your shadow work. What triggers you to act this way? Why do you act this way? Why are you addicted to this? Why are you addicted to that? You know what I'm saying? Anything that forces a human expression that you cannot control. Find out what is it that makes you do that. And once you learn that, it's that much easier to heal that sort of generational curse that you carried on from other ancestors, and so on and so forth. So once you've done the work, the inner work, healing the right chakras. Maybe you need to go see some people to get activated, a light language healing, a Reiki healing, do the things that you need to do to get right. But the most important thing to do is to get in that journal and write down everything. Make sure you jot down everything. Or just if you can keep it in memory, in mind, that's good too, because it's just that much more embedded in you. You know what I mean? So there's that. I feel like I need to say more about the healing process. I feel like I just feel like I want to say more because there's so much to put into this. It's such a broad thing, and it's a never ending process. You'll never stop healing and working on yourself. It's always going to be something that's going to come up. Like the scale is your heart, the scales, your heart and the feather being weighed together. It's always going to be a thing. I don't think that's a thing that happens. I let me say this, because I was going to say I don't think that's a thing that happens after you die. I think that's a thing that happens during this whole entire journey, especially if you're a spiritual person, if you're a person that decided to take the hero's journey. And the hero's journey is the fool's journey, the the um the journey of discovery, self-discovery, self-mastery, and whatnot. So losing my train of thought. You know, when you're losing your train of thought, you're channeling. So what was I just talking about? Okay, we're just gonna get tapped back into the heart chakra. So the heart chakra. Okay, so well, let me say this: you heal the other chakras, right? You heal certain chakras, specific chakras, like you want to heal your imagination. You want to work on your third eye chakra. So you want to heal all of the human shit that you want to work on: low self-esteem, insecurities, uh, uh, high or low sex drive, overly sexually activated, or too under sexually active. You know what I mean? Um, all of these human things. What are you addicted to? All of these things. Why are you addicted to? All of that is lies within the lower three chakras, the lower self. You know, the human self, the beast self, you know, you get it. So, um, once you learn how to heal those, you get past those three, then you make it to the heart chakra. And the heart chakra is where you get tempted because you've done the work. You've done the work to get to the heart chakra. You don't just get to the heart chakra and start doing work. I mean, you can, but it's not how this works. The Kundalini starts from the bottom to the top. So, root, sacral, solar, then the heart. And once you get to the heart, that is when you are being tested. That is when you start working on your compassion. Yes, you've done the work to heal yourself, but have you done the work to be able to forgive the people that done you wrong, so you can be able to move on from that, so it doesn't affect you anymore? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people will get into spirituality and get into healing themselves and get caught up into their villain era where they are mad at everybody and they got boundaries set so high up that they end up self-sabotaging themselves. To keep a long story short. So you got to watch that and make sure you've worked on that as well. And I think that is why we meet people like soulmates and twin flames and whatnot. It basically, you know, karmics, all of that, people in general, because we are meeting specific people that we are supposed to meet, that is supposed to help us become a better version of ourselves. That's why there are so many misconceptions of the idea of what a twin flame is. A twin flame, the whole idea or journey of a twin flame is the whole spiritual journey as a whole. It's not just about finding somebody that's just like you or mirrors you. It's about your journey. So when you thought you've done all of the karmic work and you've done all of the work on yourself, then you get a chance to meet your other half, your other self, to see if you've truly passed and what else you truly need to work on in order to be able to get to your higher self. Then it's a possibility that you could get back with this other half of yourself. Yay or nay. It all depends on the person, and it all depends on the journey. It depends on who did what, or not even that. It all depends on you. Whether if you've healed and you can, and you've are willing to forgive about certain things. So a lot of people aren't. That's understandable. So, like I said, it's all about the person and it's all about perspective. At the end of the day. So, with that being said, you get tested when you get to the heart chakra. Your compassion gets tested on whether or not you are able to hold that level of compassion, even though humans are still humaning. Humans are still being humans. Can you have compassion for that? When a white person calls you a nigger out of pure ignorance and hatred, are you able to look past that and see just an ignorant person? Still racist in 2025. What a silly thing to be at this point and at this day and age. Arguing about whether or not a video game should come out because because a black man is on it. It's stupid. It's it's idiotic at this point to even get mad when someone calls you a nigger, which is a variation of uh naga and niggas, which is kings and gods. So I guess we're just going to continue. We're all conscious and we all spiritual and we know all this and that, but we still get mad at shit that triggered us when we were still being human. Not me. I'm not gonna let you control me no more. Your little comments don't affect me no more. I don't care what kind of perspective you came from. It doesn't affect me no more. Because I've healed. I've learned who I know exactly who the fuck I am. Not a monkey. I'm something far more advanced than that. Come on now. So anyway, when you're able to do that, you can't be triggered by certain shit. I mean, some certain things are still gonna trigger you because you're still having a human experience. Let's be real and honest here. At the end of the day, and my favorite thing to say is that we are gods having a human experience. So you do that. You do with that as you will. Um. So what I was saying is, so I got to this point and I understood that, right? Okay, but there's still more work to do. You didn't pamper yourself. You look better. You're going to the gym. You got a six pack now. Your chest is bigger. Your butt is bigger. Your hips looking a little, you know what I'm saying? The waist looking like you like. Yet, you're still struggling in this area, in this heart space. Now, that's when I started putting things together. That's when I started, because it's like, when you're on this spiritual journey, the synchronicities, when you really pay attention to the synchronicities and really just do the work, even though if you don't know which way you're going, as far as studying and whatnot, just do something. Just do what your mind says. Are you interested in that? Something draws you to that. Go get that. Now start there. Keep going up. You just came across something else. It builds over time. Rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole. These rabbit holes help you piece things together. Sometimes it'll be in your face and you won't even realize it until later on. That's why you have to continue to come back to things. That's why you can't just look at lectures one time. Even if you do come back to these lectures, you still have to do the research. Please listen to people that give bibliography. Please listen to people that gives out books and authors that they've listened to and read and learned, so you can go do the research yourself and learn it for yourself, because it's nothing like reading that book and understanding 100% of what the instructor or the teacher was telling you which you can only get about 50%, but you don't even realize you're only getting 50% because it's new information. That's how new information works. You don't know until you know. You know what I'm saying? So um oh shoot. Where was I at? Channels, boy. Uh so at this time, this is when I started going back and listening to Brother Panic again. And I was listening to videos that I'd never listened to before. Rest in power. So I came across a video where he did a lecture. One of the few people, very few people that, and at that time, did a lecture on Prince. And so I listened to that. And while I was listening to it, I was having realizations because I was also studying this book called The Thoth's Tarot. I think I showed it before on my last video, but I can show it again because this book taught me how to look at tarot from a Kabbalistic point of view, as well as learn the Kabbalah tree better. There's a book. This book, The Thoth's Tarot. Understanding Aleister Crowley's Thoth Tarot by Lon Milo Duquette, new edition. Because you got to get that book in order to be able to handle that deck. And this is the deck. So anyway, I was studying that book, and it was teaching me a lot more than just the Kabbalah and all the different ways to apply the tarot to the Kabbalah and what all of the symbols mean. But it was also teaching me other aspects, like what is the holy guardian angel, which is nothing more than your higher self. And it was talking about how raising up, it was talking about the marriage between the masculine and the divine masculine and divine feminine energy, and the merge inside. See, and then that's going, and just to go put on like a side note, this is where when they're talking about the twin flame thing journey, and they say that the only way that that'll work out is when each individual or one of the two manages to merge their divine masculine and divine feminine. He's not even talking about that. And this is how I know that the twin flame journey is nothing more than just the spiritual journey as a whole. You get with them, you don't. Please don't make it more serious than, you know what I'm saying? Don't make the person be all end all, okay? That's the lesson in the whole thing too. But we'll save that for another lecture. I was talking about, the whole marriage. I'm not going to break it down because it's kind of hard to, I will be here forever. But I was talking about the marriage between the two divine energies. So while it was talking about that, it was mainly talking about having an intimate relationship with your higher self. Long story short. So the whole point of this intimate relationship with your higher self is that is where you want to be. That is the level of self-love that you want to reach. That is when your heart chakra truly starts to expand. And you want to know who demonstrated that shit better than anybody else that lived here? Prince. He demonstrated self-love to a level so high and so uncomfortable for most heterosexual men that even in his high heels, he'll still pull your bitch. And I mean that word with all respect, because bitch is the female dog, which is the female Anubis, which is from Sirius B, which are gods. Anyway, moving on. He demonstrated that better than anybody else that I've ever seen in my entire life. And then on that in that lecture that Brother Panic did, he explained that. He explained how he had a Dionysian energy, which is, it's kind of like, this sexual party like energy. He has the Pan energy, which is kind of similar. I have that. I have that. I embody that Pan energy. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a musician. I'm very sensual. I'm very hyperactive. I'm a fucking Martian. I don't knock you all that shit. So, uh, when he was explaining that, I put the two and two together when we was talking about falling in love with yourself, your holy guardian angel, and having an intimate relationship with yourself. It's much like with Prince. So you would ask you, I started to ask myself. I started to give it a test. I wanted to try this shit out. Okay, let's get to it. This is where tantra comes into play. This is where tantra comes into play. And you start teaching yourself how to do things like give yourself an orgasm, right? You do these things for self-love. That is the true self-love. Not looking for somebody else to do it, but for you to be able to do it yourself. How well do you know yourself? And then, by getting into tantra, I feel like it teaches you how to get to know yourself on a physical level, a spiritual level, and a mental level. You know what I mean? Because you know yourself you know your limits. You know how to control yourself. Like, I'm sure people are mature enough to understand what edging is, right? So, we don't look it up. So, you know how to control yourself. You know what I'm saying? So you're not easily controlled by the satisfaction of release or the satisfaction of um well, that's it. That immediate satisfaction that doles out afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Like coming or uh ejaculating. So the point that I'm trying to make is that you know your body, and when you practice tantra, you learn your body on a whole nother level, and spiritual level. You know your nervous system on a whole nother level. So the point that I'm trying to understand is that how can you love yourself on an intimate level when you don't know yourself on an intimate level? See what I'm saying? So when I got to that point where I knew myself on a level, and I knew and loved myself, like I appreciate every part of my being now because I took time to do so. I took time to fall in love with myself in an intimate level. Ask yourself questions. Would you make love to yourself? I know that sounds real crazy for a man to ask himself that. Would you? Because it's like you're asking another man, but you're not. You're not. You're asking yourself. And whether or not you want to ask another man that is totally up to you. I'm not judging. However, for the men that's not on that tip, it's okay to ask yourself these questions and be okay with it. You know what I'm saying? That's like that's how Prince was able to he would he would express himself like that. He would make love to himself because he would express himself like that. He'll take a whole album cover picture with no clothes on at all, sprawled up, doing whatever. It's he he had no shame because he knew his value, he knew his worth, and he loved himself enough for everybody else to love him too. And what had happened in return? The whole world loves him till this day. And he was able to tap into a level of creativity that was so broad that he could play any instrument. He could tap into any genre, even hip hop. Like, the man was amazing. This man is amazing too. But we talking about him. We talking about Prince. You know what I'm saying? That's why I really rock with that energy, that Dionysian, sensual, play, childlike, pan energy. That's me all day. That's me all day. It's hard for me. I don't, and the reason why the reason how I can tell I wasn't myself now back then because I was too serious about shit. Now I don't take shit serious no more. And if I do, try to catch that shit. Now, matter of fact, I catch that shit. Now I let it go. Laugh it off. It's not that serious. That's the childlike That's the childlike energy we tapped in. So learning to love yourself on an intimate level will get you further than just going to go get your haircut every week and going to the gym, making sure that your pecs is on point and making sure your booty look tight. Learning how to love yourself on an intimate level will take you further. And that's my dog snoring. She's very loud, but hey, gotta get her rest. I mean, she healthy, or it should. Anyway, so I think that's what I really wanted to just come here and talk about. I wanted to talk about the heart chakra and talk about, just loving yourself. There's levels to this shit. There's levels to everything. There's levels to this shift. There's levels to this shift, and there's levels to loving yourself. And love yourself in a minute level where you like the way you look on the surface, or you like the way you sound. You like stuff that you do from an external level. I feel like that's a minor level. But once you get to know yourself, once you get to understand your flaws and accept your flaws, because once you accept your flaws, that's when other things start to bloom about you. You know, you appreciate them, appreciate the flaws, because that's what makes you who you are. You have them for a reason. Remember, you before you was incarnated into this world, you decided everything about you and your life before you got here. You may not know it, you might not want to believe it, but that's what it is. But, there's some of us, probably didn't have a choice and just ended up coming right on back. Who knows? But there's levels to this shit, like I've been saying. There's levels to loving yourself on a just it just feels good. Like every day you have something new to smile about yourself. Like like that is the flow state where you want to be. Is just like you can't even think of anything negative about yourself anymore. Cause what is there? You know what I'm saying? And anything that you don't like, you can fix. You know what I'm saying? If you would truly want to, this is the area of do what thou wilt. Do as thou wilt. You know what I'm saying? You don't like your butt, you think your butt too flat, you want to get a bigger one, go ahead. Just make sure you do your research about it. Be safe about it. Don't be reckless. Don't just do the shit by anybody. With anybody. You know? Or pick and choose. Love yourself. Choose to accept the fact that you got a little butt. Choose to accept it. It is what it is. Right now, everybody got a big butt because they're going to get these damn BBLs and whatnot. And looking unproportionate and whatnot. And it's crazy. That's probably why most people would just suggest to just love yourself and not go put yourself through all of that shit. But, you know, no one is telling you what to do. We're not here to tell you what to do. Just here to guide you, give you some guidance. Here's some ideas on how you can get past the temptations of set when it comes to the heart chakra. So you can start working on your throat chakra and working on your crown, and then your third, well, third, then crown, the right order. That's it. That's all. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Finna go fix me something to eat. Do a couple of readings. Hope y'all have a good week.